Hello and welcome. My name is Gail Moffat, and I have been having some connections with God since 2018, I think it is, when he started coming through. And of course, he wishes to speak his words and go public with his voice, and he asked me to do this. If you are interested in all what he says and what's happening and things like that, don't forget to subscribe. Dunk, dunk, dunk. And comment and press the bell, because it really does help on this YouTube channel. So let's see what God has to say today. God is saying that he's very excited because he says that he has been setting in place many plans for Gail's work with in Pakistan. And he says that some of the plans that he is starting to implement, he feels will make some radical changes, not only in the country that she's visiting, but also across the world. And he feels that it is the start of the beginnings of all the work that he has planned. One of the things that he is very keen to address in that part of the world is he wants many people to understand who he is, what he finds acceptable and what he doesn't find acceptable. And so he will be looking to educate people on his on what he feels is acceptable in our world. Predominantly, he wants people to be loving and give people freedom and help one another to succeed in their lives. And he doesn't want anyone to be hindered. And so these are going to be the issues that he is looking to address. However, he says that he also would like to address something that he feels is very dear to his heart. And he is looking to help the people of Pakistan become more more fruitful in their lives and become more richer in their country, because he wants people to have opportunities in an area where they have had none for so long. And he also wants not only Pakistan to enjoy these new ways of living, but he wishes other countries around it to also have opportunities like they've never had before. And he is very keen to change the landscape of that area. And I don't mean geographically, I mean in the way they live their lives. And he says that once he's put some things into place, he feels that there will be people that will be able to excel in their lives, just as the people in the West sometimes excel. And he feels that he wants more of an equality across the world, and he doesn't want countries that are more poor and then other countries that are more rich. He feels that what's important is everybody has a fair opportunity to succeed and achieve their goals wherever they live. And this is what he's going to be putting in place for our world. He's saying that some of the people from that part of the world, he regularly receives prayers from them, asking for help and prosperity and be able to have more money. And he says that this idea of poverty in one area and extreme wealth in another, he finds is it's time for a shift, where people in all parts of the world have the opportunities to progress and become wealthy. And if somebody is poor and unable to feed themselves or feed their family or live or sustain themselves, it is not because of the lack of opportunities. It is because of their lack of doing what is required of them to achieve. He says that many people also in that part of the world have prayed to him to have opportunities elsewhere in the world and have a freedom of travel. And as you know, a lot of travel is restricted around the world, and some people aren't able to go to certain countries because there's a sense of suspicion. And God is saying that this suspicion has to be erased so that people can feel free to migrate and travel and take up opportunities elsewhere in the world. And he feels that and he feels that there needs to be, from that perspective, a globalization, and that people who have been born in one country should not have ownership of the land, whereas and vice versa. It should be where the human race has ownership of the earth and the planet, or rather it is a gift to them to reside upon. And he feels that he wants to have a situation where people can travel more freely and be able to go to different countries or different parts of the world and not have to ask the enormous amount of questions that seems to delay any prosperity for any individual. He, of course, accepts that there are some people that have a devious mind and want to do things that are unacceptable in a different part of the world. And he says for those people, he says that he can understand why there are checks to be made, but he feels that these checks sometimes in the world are too restrictive and unacceptable. And he has made a decision that he is really going to influence the minds of the politicians and the people in the world to make some changes and make it easier for people to flow and travel into different parts of the world, rather than have severe restrictions at all times. He's thanking you for listening, and he just wants to remind you he is working very hard behind the scenes to enable that part of the world to thrive, prosper and gain so much. And he's eager to get started with his work. And so he wishes to pray. It is my greatest wish that when we go to Pakistan, that I am able to be in a position to communicate with those people that have an opportunity to make a difference in their country. I wish to always be there for Gail and to guide her in the work that she is doing, of which I am so thankful and grateful for. It is my wish that as I go about my business and help mankind, that the opportunities for man is always there and given to them, that they have great opportunities. No one is restricted, no one is held back. Everyone has freedom to be wherever they wish to be. And he thanks everyone for listening. Amen. And so, back to Gail. You know, one of the things that I greatly admire about God is his sense of compassion and his need to make everything perfect for mankind, and how hard he works to do that. And I just feel always grateful to him for being there in our lives and helping us at all times. And you can see how he's thinking hard about the inadequacies of our world, or our different cultures, or across countries and things like that. God is great and God is love. So thank you for listening. Goodbye.